This is The Frequency. I'm Mary Engish. It's Friday, November 7th. Coming up in today's episode, a parenting program once only available to incarcerated mothers. It'll now be offered to dads in Vermont prisons too. And a cancer center in southwestern Vermont is expanding. Plus, for this Friday, we'll spin some local tunes to get you into the weekend. A program that offers parental support services to incarcerated mothers will soon be available to men held at the state prison in Newport. This marks the first time that this program will be offered to incarcerated fathers in Vermont. It's called Kids Apart Parenting Program, and it offers all kinds of services, including help facilitating visits between parents and their kids. And I spoke to Vermont Public's Liam Elder Connors about this program, which began in 2011 in the women's prison. I started off by asking specifically about in-person visits between kids and parents who are incarcerated.
That's right. And actually at Chittenden Regional Correctional Facility, which is the women's prison in Vermont, there's a separate room for incarcerated mothers and their children to spend time together. Kim LaRoche is at Lund, which is the social services organization that runs this program. And she says that room is meant to be a bit softer than a normal correctional facility room.
There's games, there's storybooks, there's activities, there's soft spaces where parent and children can connect. Outside of that typical visitation structure in a correctional facility.
There are other kinds of visitation options that the program allows, including virtual visits. There's also letter writing sessions for mothers in the facilities. And there's even a program that allows people to record themselves reading a bedtime story to their kids, and then the kid can listen to and read along to the recording.
That's Vermont Public's Liam Elder Connors talking about a program called Kids Apart. It's offered for the first time in Vermont to incarcerated men with children. You can read Liam's reporting at vermontpublic.org. The Southwestern Vermont Medical Center in Bennington is expanding its cancer center. The existing facility just isn't big enough, says James Tremarky. He's planning director at the Dartmouth Health Affiliated Hospital. Tremarky says that forces some southern Vermont patients to actually seek care elsewhere.
What happens when patients out-migrate to other institutions? Oftentimes they have to duplicate their imaging studies or duplicate their laboratory studies, over at the other institution. And that's just not, that's expensive. That's just not good care for patients.
The hospital plans to break ground on this expanded cancer center this spring. And if all goes according to plan, it should open by the fall of 2027. Anyone wanting to travel across Brookfield's floating bridge, well, you're going to need to wait till next year. And that's because this unique Orange County bridge on Vermont Route 65, it officially closed for the season this morning. And it is that time of year to think about overnight parking bans in place for the season because it's going to snow. Actually, some places already seeing snow on the roads and some snow in the mountains too. Well, these parking bans, they're enacted so crews can snow plow in the event of really big storms. Some towns like Winooski have their parking ban rules and their hours posted so you can see them just as you're driving into town. Coincidentally, Winooski's ban does not begin just yet, but several enacted their parking bans the first of this month. Rules vary town by town, of course, but in Vermont, if you're traveling to Addison County and it snows, don't park overnight on the street in Bristol. Same for Richmond in Chittenden County, and St. Albans Town in Franklin County, Randolph in Orange County, Castleton in Rutland County, plus Cavendish, Springfield, Chester, and Norwich in Windsor County, and Barrytown in Washington County. All of those towns have enacted their parking bans, their overnight parking bans during winter storms, and that goes on until spring. A Montreal painter with Vermont roots brings hundreds of birds to life in this new illustrated book. It's called The Illuminated Book of Birds by Robin Crowfoot Brittingham. It features almost 400 different bird species from all around the globe. On Vermont Edition this week, Crowfoot Brittingham said some of her favorite birds in the book live in our region, like loons.
In the summer times when I get out near lakes in Quebec, you often hear loons, and they have really interesting mythical associations in different indigenous cultures. And in Ojibwe mythology, they're sort of this messenger between worlds.
And if you'd like to get your hands on this book, Bear Pond Books and the North Branch Nature Center will host a book launch event that is this evening in Montpelier. And as we head into the weekend, plenty of events in our region to check out, and a handy place to find them is our newish community calendar. You can find it at vermontpublic.org/calendar. Coming up tonight, it's called Friday Night Dinner at the Farm. That's at Scott Farm on Kipling Road in Dummerston. And if you're feeling like a little local spandex and hair metal, a night with Vermont's own 8084. There's nothing like this band. They're iconic Vermont rock band taking the stage live at the T-Rex Theater at the Double E in Essex. That's tomorrow night, 7:30. And on Sunday, Brattleboro Veterans Town Hall is happening at the American Legion, Post 32. That's on Linden Street in Brattleboro. That's an event where veterans are invited to speak about their experiences serving in the military and how those experiences affected them. Non-veterans are encouraged to attend and listen. And again, if you want to check out our community calendar, it's at vermontpublic.org/calendar. When we come back, today in Vermont history, plus some new music from a local artist. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to The Frequency, where support comes from 802 Spirits. When you shop at one of the 80-plus independently owned 802 Spirits stores across Vermont, you're supporting local Vermont communities. Learn more about how 802 Spirits contributes to the spirit of Vermont and the Vermont General Fund at 802spirits.com. And Springfield Cadillac GMC in Springfield, Vermont, offering a wide range of pre-owned electric vehicles starting at under $20,000. View all EV inventory at springfieldgmc.com.
On this day in Vermont history, well, actually it's tomorrow, but it still counts. On November 8th in 1805, Montpelier was selected as the state capital. You might wonder why, say, Burlington wasn't chosen, being the largest city in the Green Mountain State. Well, for the first 11,000 years or so prior to being the state capital of Vermont, the city we now know as Montpelier, which sits on the Winooski River and at the mouth of the Dog River in the North Branch, it was a travel corridor for Indigenous people who lived, worked, and farmed there. Montpelier got its name after the French city with the same name, with the extra L, Montpellier, and it was named just after the American Revolution, when there was so much enthusiasm for all things French because of their helpfulness with the American Revolution. It was chosen as a state's capital for pretty pragmatic reasons. It was centrally located, and people provided land and money to build the state house there. In the 2020 census, Montpelier earned the dubious distinction of being the least populated state capital in the U.S. And if I didn't already say it 3 times, it's Friday, and that feels like the right time to switch gears a little bit away from news and feature a tune from our rich and vibrant local music scene. You'll hear the artists giving us kind of a behind-the-scenes look into their process in crafting it. Today's song comes from Amber De Laurentiis. Amber oversees the vocal jazz program at the University of Vermont and released a new album this year titled Space Invader. The song is If It Gets You Through. Here's a taste.
Maybe you're asleep when the world's awake, or you eat a little too much cake. It's alright if it gets you through. Maybe you sit and talk to the
song is somewhat inspired by John Lennon's Whatever Gets You Through the Night, and has to do with not judging yourself for doing nothing or indulging. If you're in a stressful place, or whatever place you're in a world where we're expected to stay on the hamster wheel while being inundated with information, a lot of which incites division and polarity, doing nothing / napping / meditation / contemplation is an act of resistance. When I sing "Sometimes doing nothing is everything" in the song,
Sometimes doing nothing is everything, everything.
it equates to these moments of pause which can open a window of awareness into the deeper truths of the world. Also, on a lighter note, a little bit of cake is good, but a lot of cake is even better.
That's Vermont musician Amber De Laurentiis, along with Tom Cleary, Caleb Bronze, Colin McCaffrey, and Pat Markley, with Amber's song, If It Gets You Through, from the new album called Space Invaders. Find it wherever you find, listen, and download music. And that's The Frequency for today. Give us a follow, download The Frequency, rate it, tell a friend. That would be super helpful as we're remodeling and reshaping The Frequency. And let us know what you'd like to hear in this daily news podcast. You can write us at thefrequency@vermontpublic.org. We had additional reporting from Jen Jarecki, Leah Melder-Connors, Michaela Lafrac, and Lola DeFore. Adia Golston produces The Frequency with Stephanie Colombini editing. And our music is by Blue Dot Sessions and Universal. Talk to you again Monday. Have a great weekend.
Sources and methods, the crown jewels of the intelligence community. Shorthand for how do we know what's real? Who told us? If you have those answers, you're on the inside, and NPR wants to bring you there. From the Pentagon to the State Department to spy agencies, listen to understand what's really happening and what it means for you. Sources and Methods, the new national security podcast from NPR.